the reality is the statistics say about 30% of Americans have an estate plan of some sort. From
Mhm.
what we see, it's probably more like 10% have an adequate, efficient estate plan. So it's very low. There is a lot of risk out there. And what are the risks? Let's just touch on what those risks are, because I think that's where the light bulbs start going off.
Property insurance for real estate investors doesn't have to be difficult, but it does need to be there to protect you when you need it. MyInvestorInsurance.com not only provides insurance at 15 to 30% cheaper than traditional agencies, it's built specifically for real estate investors like you. You can set up an account in about 2 minutes, get quotes on properties, turn on and turn off insurance for your fix and flip or rental properties in around 2 minutes without having to talk to anyone directly, all through our portal. There's no better way or faster way to make sure you've got the coverage you need to protect you, and no more lengthy policies either. Once you're set up, you're billed monthly and prorated by the day for however long your policy is active. It's powered by MSI, the third largest independent MGA, with 1.5 million customers and more than $1 billion in cumulative premiums written. Get set up today in about 2 minutes at myinvestorinsurance.com/fuel.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Podcast. I am your host, Q Edmonds, and I am excited to be here today. Listen, this is the first time I get a chance to really talk about this subject, I think, on this part, myself, on this platform, but it's an important subject. And so I'm not going to tell you what it is, because I want you to stick around, because I want you to hear it from the expert's mouth, because it's so important. It's something we should be thinking about. We got to change our mindset around it. It's something that we tend to think about kind of later on in our years. But no, it's something that really need to be put in place now, because you're going to save your loved ones a whole lot of trouble. And I have seen firsthand how not preparing and planning for this can really destroy, and I hate to use such a strong word, but really destroy your family in the wake of some things that happen in the aftermath. So I am really, really excited for you all to get to know Miss Lauren Klein. Miss Lauren, how you doing today, ma'am?
I am fantastic and so happy to be here. Thank you.
Absolutely. Well, I'm glad you're here. You know, I'm a little jealous of you, but they don't need to know that. But you know what I'm talking about, because you seem like you got your energy. You seem like you're centered. And so I love it. But I'm glad you're here. I really am. This is going to be fun. I know how people need what you're going to talk about. And so, Miss Lauren, I kind of just want to dive in. I want you to tell the people what your main focus is these days. I would love if you give us maybe a little bit of an origin story, kind of how you got started, how you got to where you are now. And then if you don't mind telling them geographically where you are. People just seem want to know where people are in the world. So if you feel comfortable telling them that. So what's your main focus, the origin story, and where you are? Miss Lauren, ma'am, you have the floor.
Fantastic. Like I said, so happy to be here. So, who am I? I'm Lauren Klein. I am the co founder of Flourish Law Group. We are a boutique tax and trust and estates law firm. And today, really, we're going to be talking about estate planning and why. Don't turn it off. Don't run away. This is not going to be boring. Really, why this is important for everyone to know, but especially those in the real estate space. There are a lot of things that you need to be aware of that we're going to talk about today that can save you and your family money and time and heartache and make you more tax efficient. You know, who doesn't love that? We'll talk about that too. A little bit about my background. Before I went to law school, I was actually in finance. I was planning on going into the financial space. I was interning at one of the big brokerage houses, but it was 2008 and the world was crumbling around many of us. And so I saw firsthand a lot
Mhm.
of families lose money, go through foreclosure. And I said, okay, what can I do to one, bide a little time while the market improves and the economy improves? And also, what can I do to help families protect themselves? And so I went to law school, not really knowing what I would do or what area of law I would be in. I've always loved real estate, so I thought that might be the area I would go into. But I took a wills and trust class, and I'm now happy to say I teach that same class at my law school. So that's really fun. But I fell in love with it. I fell in love with it. And then I took a tax class, and I was like, whoa, did not think I would like this, but I fell in love with that too, because what I realized, Quentin, is estate planning and tax planning.
Stop living on an island and join the #1 mastermind in America for professional real estate investors. Investor Fuel is a community of hundreds of the nation's top investors working together to build stronger businesses and better lives. In addition to the amazing community of real estate investors acting as a board of advisors for one another, Investor Fuel members have access to 100% funding on purchase and repairs for our members only, a health insurance program, and benefits and discounts that more than pays for the membership of most of our members, meaning it's actually costing you money to not be a member of Investor Fuel. If you're looking to scale your business and build a business that allows you to live the life of your dreams, please visit investorfuel.com today and book a call with our team.
And all of that it sounds old, it sounds dusty. It's really just an extension of the wealth that we're building. It's an extension of our financial plan, of our real estate portfolio. And that's, I'm really happy that the universe kind of brought me full circle, because it's been impactful. And I know we're going to dive into a lot of that today. And then where am I? I am located in sunny South Florida, so in the Fort Lauderdale area.
I love it. I love it. Listen, you set me up for my next statement because, Miss Lauren, I say this once every pod, that destiny has no wasted moments. That's what I say, right? And you said the universe brought me full circle. I love how, and I'm working my way back on my notes. You took a class that you now teach. Chef kiss, come on. Before law, you was in finance. Just like your journey, it has kind of brought you to where you are now, like helping people with their finances. And you said the universe has brought you here. And I always say, like I said, destiny has no wasted moments. Like as we go through life, these moments kind of build up to who we are right now. And like nothing's wasted. Like it builds our mindset, it builds our resilience, it makes us humble. And so I would love to know from your mouth, what has these moments in destiny taught you about yourself? Like now that you've realized you have come full circle, what has these moments taught you about you, Miss Lauren?
Oh my goodness. I mean, so many things, so many things. But I think one of the biggest thing that all of this has taught me is our wealth and our money mindset, and the steps that we take to reverse, generational curses from our own family and really build
Oh,
wealth is everything. It's everything, and it's for all of us. It doesn't matter where you came from, if you came from money or not. I certainly didn't, but it's impactful. And we all, have the power and the wherewithal to build a team around us and to make, decisions. And I know your audience knows this, because they're building real estate portfolios. They're getting into the real estate game in one way or another. So they know they're onto something, right? They're onto
yeah,
something that it's bigger than
yeah,
your 9 to 5. Nothing wrong with a 9 to 5, but it's bigger than that if you really want to create a legacy that lasts for your family. And that's, I think, the biggest lesson from all of this. My medium of this and my space is the estate planning space, that piece of the puzzle, but it's part of a greater puzzle of we're all just out there trying to take care of our family, build legacy, and make sure that we're being smart as we move, through life.
yeah, yeah. No, I love it. And you're absolutely right. I think the majority of us, and maybe, I mean, I guess those listening may be different, but the majority of people I know, they have been taught to leverage their time. This is all I have. And so I leverage my time for a 9 to 5. I work, uh, 5 days. Look, some people 6 days, some people 7 days a week. And y'all pay me once or maybe twice a month. So it's like I work,
Mhm.
I work and get paid once.
Yep.
But the freedom of your time is getting your time back is when you can build something where you work it once, get paid, get paid, get paid, get paid. And so I think you're absolutely right. Like we all have the propensity to change our minds around wealth, around finance, around money. And I think what you're doing is a necessary step for people to kind of change their mindset. And maybe they have been good about money so far, but how is your estate planning? Like, have you given much thought about it? And so that's why I'm glad you're here. And so, Flourish Law Group.
If you're looking for consistent, high-quality leads, look no further than Investor Machine. Investor Machine isn't just another agency, it's the most sophisticated, data-driven lead generation company on the planet for real estate investors, and serves the role of being not just a lead generator for your business, but a marketing partner that is helping you achieve your goals along the way. Go to investormachine.com to learn more and schedule a call with our team today.
I want you to tell me, like, what is the next real goal for you guys? What are you looking to solve next? How are you looking to really impact people?
So I think the biggest thing is right now we're in a very unique time in the world. We're in the great transfer of wealth. Right now, it's already happening. There's money passing from baby boomers and similar generations down to Gen Z, millennials, Gen X, so on and so forth. And so we're at a very unique opportunity in history to take the steps necessary to protect ourselves and not miss out, right? Because one of the ways that we build generational wealth is to have our financial house in order. And part of that is estate planning. And so one of the biggest things we're working on right now is just education, podcasts like this,
Yeah.
sharing what we know and what we see behind the scenes with our clients and just helping as many people as possible in a responsible way while still providing a very high level of legal services. I came from, one of the biggest law firms in the country. My law partner came from one of the biggest trust companies. She was a corporate trustee and attorney. And
Mm.
we've seen a lot. We've seen a lot of families go through a lot of stuff and whether the planning's good or the planning's bad and how that impacts everyone. And so we just want to be able to, if for those we can't work with, we at least want them to have the education of here's what you should do next. Here's things you
Yeah.
should be aware of.
Yeah. No, I love it, and I hear so much care in your language when you talk about the clients and the people that you serve. And one of the things that you said to me, and hopefully you don't mind me mentioning, is that sometimes lawyers can talk down at people, talk down, make them feel like the question you asking, like, like, why would you ask that? That's just as my, I don't know. I don't know who uses that voice, Miss Lauren. I don't know. But, but what I feel from you is that there is a real care for people. Like you said, you want to educate. You really want to help them out, even if they're not taking, hiring your group. Is like, okay, how can we help? And so I want to get your perspective on relationship building. You have clients, you talk to a lot of people. How do you go about building relationships? And is relationships important? Do you put a premium on it? Like, give me your vantage point on relationships specifically with what you do. And how do you think about relationships?
Yeah, it's a really good question. So, when it comes to our clients, we are fiduciaries. We are held to a higher ethical standard and we are caring for our clients. And so the relationship is incredibly important. We're dealing with, we're getting all of the information on their finances, all of the skeletons in their closet, all of the things that they may not necessarily want to share. And so there's a extremely high level of trust. We're
Yeah,
also being trusted with, reviewing their assets and how to structure things properly and ask them the right questions and introduce them to the right, partners, the right financial advisors and CPAs and corporate trustees and things like that. So relationships to us, it's everything. Without
yeah,
it, we can't serve our
yeah,
clients.
yeah. I love it. I love it. Miss Lauren, I want to ask you, how does adversity look in your field? Is it like people not giving you all the information? I smiled when you started talking about information that they give. Like, do you run into people not talking about children that they have that they should have disclosed, to their family? Like, how does adversity in your world show its ugly? Well, not ugly here, because adversity, it helps us grow, but how does adversity look within, what you do?
It's interesting. Usually, once the client has decided they're going to, work with us or work with an estate planning attorney, the walls usually come down. The
Yes.
hardest part, I would say the most adversity is just getting started feeling like, okay, I'm worthy of an estate plan. What is an estate? What does that mean? Do I need to have, $30 million? Do I need to have 40 investment properties? When am I ready for this? And people, it's way sooner than most people realize. So I think the biggest adversity or pushback we get is just getting the ball rolling. Usually once the client engages us and we move forward.
If you're a new or newer real estate investor looking to launch or grow your real estate investing business, please check out Investor Fuel Club. It's a coaching community, but unlike anything you've ever seen before. And you can actually partner with members of our mastermind from coast to coast on deals right in your market. There's no better opportunity to build a consistent business than to literally partner with pros to help you avoid costly mistakes, avoid the need for capital to do deals, and help you eliminate your fears as you're starting your business. Learn more about Investor Fuel Club at investorfuel.com/club.
They open up. Yes, sometimes there's some family secrets that they're trying to hide, and maybe then if you have
Yeah.
that family secret, maybe you hired the lawyer and not with your spouse, so you can disclose that confidentially to your lawyer. If that's the way you want to do it. But that's the biggest thing I see: people just not knowing what they need and just not. People will wait 6 months, a year to hire us because it's just like a mental hurdle they have to get over.
Yeah. Nope. I get it. And if you listen, if you're on the fence, get off the fence. Just go in higher. Like you're going to be analysis by paralysis, but paralysis by analysis. Just get off the fence. Go ahead and
Mhm.
hire. So we're gonna get to our contact information later. But Miss Lauren, I do want to ask: is there any topic that I have not asked you about, that I have not brought up, that you would like to talk about? Or is there any kind of other words of motivation, education, inspiration, maybe that you want to leave for the people? If it's, I just kind of want to open the floor up. Is there anything on your brain, on your mind, or even in your notes that you like? I'm gonna make sure I talk about this, but I kind of just want to open it up to make sure we're not missing nothing.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think the biggest things that I would want the audience to take away from this, a couple of things. One, I talked about the adversity of just getting started. The reality is the statistics say about 30% of Americans have an estate plan of some sort. From
Mhm.
what we see, it's probably more like 10% have an adequate, efficient estate plan. So it's very low. There is a lot of risk out there. And what are the risks? Let's just touch on what those risks are, because I think that's where the light bulbs start going off. One, who's receiving your assets if something happens to you? If you don't have anything, the state decides. So a lot of people already are
Mm,
like, oh, whoa, I don't want the state deciding who receives my assets. Even if the state would decide, let's just say you have, a spouse and you have children, and you're like, okay, that's who I would want the assets to go to. Do you want your children to get a real estate portfolio or a brokerage account or a life insurance policy in their individual names at 18? What if they get married and they get divorced? Are they going to lose half of that? What if they get sued by and there's creditors? Do you want everything you've worked so hard for just to poof, go
mm,
away? These are the things that we start to think about. How do you structure the portfolio in the proper way? How do you structure your other assets in the most efficient way? Putting assets in a trust can be very, very, very impactful. Now, let's say you have an estate plan, but let's say you haven't retitled, you haven't put assets in a trust, or you haven't moved your LLCs or your real estate into a trust. You haven't named beneficiaries even. What happens is, in order for those assets to get to your loved ones, even if it's the same people you would pick, there's a process called probate. And I'm sure some of
mm,
your audience has gone through that with their family. And probate essentially is a court process where I kill myself off all the time in meetings. So let's say I pass away and I didn't do anything, and my husband has survived me, and everything was in my name. In order for the assets to get from me to him, for him to even pay bills, he has to hire a lawyer, at least in Florida. It's different in every state. He has to hire a lawyer. Everything has to go before a judge. It's going to take at the minimum 6 months, more likely a year and a half, 2 years for there to be full access to assets. Everything becomes public information. And then everyone gets it outright with no protection, no creditor protection, no protection for your children. And it's quite easy to avoid, but people just don't know. So those would be the biggest things that I would really want your audience to think about. It's just about getting started. My recommendation would be meet with a couple estate planning attorneys. It's like dating. You want to find
Mm,
someone that you really like, that you feel comfortable with, and that you can see yourself meeting with, hopefully at least on a every 3-year basis. We meet with our clients every year because estate planning is it's your financial plan, right? It evolves. You don't set it and forget it. You keep your eye on it, you have your professionals around you. So those would be like at a very high level, the things that I see often clients having light bulbs around, of how impactful all of this is. And I will say, if there's any families out there that are blended families in particular, meaning maybe there's a newer spouse and children from prior relationships, it becomes that much more important because and we see it all the time, and it's not that there's even strife or drama. Everyone gets along great, but let's say stepmom says, "Okay, but if dad goes first and now I'm here with stepchildren who we get along fine, but now we have this giant real estate portfolio. What happens? Who receives what share? What do we
mm,
do? Is there going to be a forced sale because we didn't do things properly?" Just things like that, that just you need to consider. Every family is unique. But if you don't talk about it, then again, the state is deciding, the court is getting involved, and it can lead to litigation. And like you said, families being destroyed, and you can avoid that most often. So that's
mm.
really what planning is. It's so much more than people realize.
No, absolutely. Miss Lauren, so well said. Listen, if someone wanted to reach out to you, connect with you, collaborate with you, how can they get in contact with you, ma'am?
Absolutely. So the best place to get in touch with me is really honestly Instagram at lawyer Lauren Klein or
Mm,
at Flourish Law Group. You can also go on our website, flourishlawgroup.com. There is a contact us button. We are only licensed in Florida, but I always open this up. If there's someone listening and they're in California, Massachusetts, Georgia, we have contacts all over that we trust. So if we can't help you, we can connect you with someone who can so you can get the ball rolling, understand, what it is that you need to do, and then just do it. You just got to rip the band-aid and make it happen, and you'll feel I have a signing after this, and the clients always leave and they're like, "Oh my gosh, I just feel so much better." It's like this weight off your shoulders that you needed to do.
yeah.
It's really great to see.
Absolutely. Well, listen, Miss Lauren, let me do this. Let me say three things to you. First, thank you for your time because we talked about time before. Time is our most precious commodity. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you came here. You gave us your expertise. So thank you for your time. I am not accepting any bills or any what they call that what you call it when somebody writes you a I'm losing my train of thought, but thank you for your time. I'm trying to make a joke, but thank you for your time. Don't bill me. That's what I'm really trying to say, Miss Lauren. Don't invoice. That's what I'm looking for. Don't send me no invoice, Miss Lauren. But no, honestly,
So
thank you for
worry.
your time. Right, right. I appreciate you. But thank you for being here. Thank you for your time. You, of all people, know you can put a premium on your time. You can put a value that has a price tag to your time. So thank you for your time.
My
Secondly, just
pleasure.
thank you for your narrative, for your story. Even thank you for just leading with transparency and integrity. Really appreciate that. I tell people all the time, I put a premium on stories. And so stories have a way of planting a seed in people. We might never see the growth, but they planted a seed. And so I know today you planted a seed, planted real value. So thank you so much for that. And lastly, thank you for your mindset, for your perspective. You paid a good penny for the way you think, for your expertise. So thank you for bringing that mindset and that perspective to this podcast. I greatly appreciate you, man.
It's my pleasure. I'm so happy to be here. This was a lot of fun. You have a great show.
Absolutely. Appreciate it. Thank you so much. Well, listen, y'all heard Miss Lauren. Look in the show notes, get in contact with her. Let's start planning these estates. All right. Just take the wisdom and go ahead and get in contact with her, see how she can help. But definitely make sure you are subscribed here because I promise you, we're going to continue to bring up amazing people just like Miss Lauren. So, ma'am, thank you again. And everyone else, listen, y'all have a fantastic day.